Welcome, Minorcan Navy. Here we go. The aftermath of the fire at the Pinova plant in Brunswick, Georgia. Dealing with still the fire department there, keeping water on the tanks. And now a new issue, the materials from the fire and its extinguishment running out into the marsh. Well, here we got some drone footage of where the seat of the fire was, and we're going to fly around. You can take a look at just the heat damage that was caused here in this area. I have not heard any statement from the company about what kind of repairs are going to go on here or any kind of time frame, but and looking at the videos, they have suffered quite a bit of damage down in the pump. What was it? This is a pumping area, possibly for distribution. We have noticed that there's some rail cars that are very close to this area. So this looks like it may be the distribution area for the plant, that or intake of chemicals. So there we can see some of those rail cars in the drone video and the damage that's been caused in that area. And we also see the amount of foam that was placed down there by the fire services to suppress this fire. And that becomes a concern of the runoff. They're still putting quite a bit of water up on the area to cool it, but also as it's doing that, it's moving those bits and pieces and debris and what chemicals may be on the ground out into the drainage area, and then out. You will see later in the video here where the outfall is and where it drops down into the marshes. Now, as we look across the entire site here of the Pinova plant, we see right in the background the area where the fire was, and then we scan across more of the plant and back towards the east. That is St.simons Island in the very far background, but there you can see a waterway, and that is just across Highway 17, which runs north to south, and this is the outflow from the plant. This is where the drains come, and this material kind of the water runs off. But what we're seeing here is obvious. Here we've got some of the foam from the fire that was used is being washed out, and now Moran Environmental was on scene with one of their boats and booms, and they're trying to collect that. But we can see from the video there that some of it's already escaped, no doubtly on the tides from last night. Hopefully they can get most of this material collected. Really don't know how much of it now is mixed in with this water as it goes out, because of course this boom is only skimming the top of it. So if it's mixed, in the water, it's a good chance that this is just flowing right out into the marsh, and we don't know what kind of repercussions we're going to suffer from that. Kind of fly back up the creek here. That highway there is US Highway 17, and this outflow runs underneath 17. And there in the background, you can kind of see the drainage ditch, containment ditch that runs around the plant property. It looks like they did have environmental folks on the scene. Looks like the EPA, as well as the state of Georgia, had personnel. They were monitoring the situation, and hopefully they'll be able to mitigate this as rapidly and as safely as possible. Try to deal with the situation we have at hand now after the fire has been extinguished. You see there that area, that dark spot in the background, that is where the fire was, and you can see that containment drainage ditch that kind of runs around the property and then back out through that outflow into the marsh. And the really crazy thing about it is we'll kind of pan around and look at all this. It eventually flows into the Marsh Creek, into the river, and then ultimately ends up out in the St.simons Sound and into the ocean. It really makes you wonder how much more this small area can actually take. Here we've had the Golden Ray. We've had this actual site was a Superfund site years ago when the Hercules company owned it, and now we've got Pinova with a big fire and different stuff draining into the marsh system and out into the ecosystem. Hopefully this is able to be contained and rectified as soon as possible. Hey, that's about all we've got for right now. You guys stay with us and subscribe if you haven't done it. But most of all, we want you guys to stay safe out there.